Welcome back to the Collider Studio here at New York Comic Con. I'm Maggie Levitt, and
Maggie!
And I am here with the fantastic cast of the franchise.
Hi.
How are you all doing?
Not as excited.
So diving straight in, something I really love about the franchise is that it does focus on the people who are below the line. And I'm curious for those of you who are playing characters that are different from what your typical roles are on set. Has this now kind of changed your kind of experience in looking at the people around you when you're on sets?
Yeah, being the lead of a show is no. I've
never done that. Okay.
sorry. Okay.
I think we were all very much aware of how hard these people work. From the second you walk onto a set, it's very, very clear that the real workers are below the line. Even calling them below the line is just as almost obnoxious at times as just calling the talent. Mm-hmm. We're called the talent, which is embarrassing at times. But yeah, I think we
are extremely talented, though.
Contrary to what some people have said today.
Throw in some daggers. Let's go. Shots fired.
I did have a very serious question for Himesh about
pivot.
So American audiences may not know this, but you were on EastEnders for 9 years, and you also co-wrote an episode of that series.
It was like a spin-off,
thing, part of it. But I'm curious, in the show, we see that Daniel has goals that are so much bigger than being a first AD on a superhero movie. And I'm curious, did you find any commonality in those goals kind of beyond what you're currently doing and kind of looking into the industry?
It's a really great question. I've definitely had experiences where I am glad to say not on the franchise, but on things where I've kind of been there as an actor going, this isn't right. And it would just take a little, in my opinion, very inexperienced opinion, but like in my opinion, I'd look at something and go, I think it just needs this, or this is what needs to change, but you're just kind of beating your head against a brick wall because you're an actor who's going to listen to you. So like I've definitely had that experience, and yeah, I mean, I have ambitions to do things behind the camera eventually. I'm writing a film at the moment and that sort of thing. So yeah. I definitely related to that, yeah.
Very nice. I have a similar question for you, Lolly, because we see that Dag also has goals outside of being a second AD on a superhero movie, but we don't really know much about her life outside of set. So I'm curious for you, like, what sort of character work did you put into what Dag wants to be?
I think I spoke to John early on, and he mentioned that she has probably been to film school, did a degree in film, and then life kind of passed her by. We all think that she's Gen Z, but she's unfortunately 35, and is in a lot of debt and has kind of come to this industry quite late, where it seems to be in this kind of dying state. And so she's just extremely ambitious and wants to just shoot straight to the top, but kind of wishes that she was on a more interesting film, and has probably written a script herself that she would love to make one day. But I think that she has no respect for superhero movies initially, and then slowly like starts to have some fondness for them.
I see that kind of journey for her throughout the season. I have a question for you, which is, this isn't the first time you've been in a series that kind of pokes fun at the superhero genre. So I'm curious for you, like, what was it like coming from The Boys to the franchise?
Better hours, for one. I mean, the Brits do it so well. It's a 10-hour day. That means 12 hours for hair, makeup, and actors. And then, of course, more hours for transpo. They add up. But 10-hour shooting day, French hours. And that's very lovely. Something like The Boys, there's just so many big set pieces. Things take a lot longer to shoot. It's a much faster pace on something like this than The Boys. So, I can't remember how many days they do per episode, but we do quite a few less and no 19, 20-hour days. So that's the biggest difference. And then everything else is sets. I know we want to like equate the two because the superhero, but the truth is like sets are sets. It's more about time.
I love that. And Daniel, I have a similar question for you, which, I think a lot of people know you as, Zemo in the Marvel movies, but you've worked in a lot of franchises. You worked in the Bourne franchise, you worked in the Kingsman franchise, the Cloverfield franchise. And I'm curious for you,
were
like
in the Kingsman? Yeah.
Yes.
Check it out.
It's a fun movie.
I love them. That's what I'm like.
Memorable.
I'll watch
Yes.
it back. Sorry.
No, it's good. But I'm curious, was there a certain degree of
We were friends.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious, is there a certain degree of catharsis in getting to kind of poke fun at the franchises out there in the universe and playing through kind of the situational comedy of this series?
Of course, laughing about yourself and being self-deprecating is something that I always find very healthy and fun. Because there's always that moment that you feel on a movie set that, you know, it can feel so incredibly dramatic and painful and existential. And then my wife, for example, is a psychologist. So I remember so many conversations when she then went like, well, I was dealing with this patient today, and I thought like, was it really so hard, my night shoot on this or that film, you know? So to put it into the right perspective, but the pain is real though, because you believe in the story. And as Darren said before in an interview, it's like at the beginning, there's that excitement and you want to make the best film or series in history. But then if that goes wrong, and I had this experience once that was really, really painful because there wasn't even a week. It's just the moment I arrived, it was a sinking ship. So, and there was no way back for 3 months. So I was thinking a lot about this film. Anyways.
It definitely puts things into perspective though, because, you know, I often have joked on sets, you know, we're not curing cancer. We should be. Yes. And Billy, I have a question. I have a question for you. I'm sort of haunted by something that I think it was John said at the press conference about how like so many of the industry's greatest minds are kind of trapped within the franchise model. And I know you are a producer, you have a production company, you're working on The Ridge, which I think is your...
The Ridge, no, not so much anymore. Other Mattress Mac, Chariot.
But you're working on a lot of things. And I'm curious, like as a producer, do you find people who are in that franchise mindset that are expecting like major blockbuster hits, and what are you kind of experiencing from that side of things?
Well, thanks for asking this. Big thing with Happy Bad Bungalow, I think we do not operate with the idea of a franchise aspect. We really are trying to put the talent and the artistry back, or give the talent back to the artists that make the thing. I think franchises have stolen and sucked up so much creative energy that we can't like celebrate the true artists out there and the unique perspectives, and giving the equipment and the tools these artists need to tell the stories that you really care about. Because even like our show, it's about a superhero movie, and that's like the hook to bring us in. But it's a show about people trying to do their best, and it's this. You have this great cast of characters, and what everyone craves are relationships and human struggles. It's not like a explosion. It's really the intimacy between people, and that's what I think our show's good at. Is that it is the interrelationships with each character that we follow, and I think that relates to artists now too. We want to go back to that place in cinema, and back is not right, but I think I want to celebrate, you know, the artist again, because it's just becoming about the bottom line. And,
Bravo.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Hire us all, Billy. Hire us all.
You produce?
Yeah.
You produce. Yeah. All right, hire.
And I think I think that's where we can wrap things. That was a great answer. I mean, look at that.
Wow. I'm coming out of a blackout.